Wow, look at that. Look at me. Hey, it's your buddy here. And I got some more information. I wanted to show you the insights that I have that you need to know, America. From the moment you were born, you've been bred by the United States government to do whatever they wanted you to do. You were bred to take in information and do whatever they wanted. The United States government actually has a capability. I mean, you've been mind controlled. You've been fed misinformation. You've been fed things as a child and as an adult, and they've made everyone basically delusional, just willing to take in any information the U.S. government says like it's the truth and never question them. And the government, when they put out a statement about something, they know it's a lie. They know that it's designed just for maximum acceptance by the people that they are letting live and not killing, so that they can basically, keep everything in control, including your mind. And they're doing this to everybody. Anyone who thinks it's not happening is one of theirs. That it was so effective on. It was just, they did not learn to think for themselves. They were not taught to think for themselves. They were taught to follow what they were told by the government. And the curriculum was all limited just so that you would not have true insight into what they were doing. And the rare people that did get insight were the ones that succeeded, and that they were sucked up into the government really fast. All the physicists, almost all the CIA agents, all the fucking FBI agents, all the people in control of this shit are using it for their advantage. They're in control, and they were the ones that learned to use their brain and learned to manipulate others and learn to take control of others and use everything for their advantage. Give them the resources, give them the money, and other people around them just accepted it. And that's what's happening. And so when Edward Snowden says that, when he brings up the fact that the child in the day will know no privacy, no conception of privacy, and every thought will be analyzed by the government. This is very scary, because it's the government actually gaining more ability to mind control. Mind control is the ability to analyze your every thought. They want you to talk into Facebook. They want you to talk on your damn phone. And it's all unwitting, the stuff that they're doing. They're taking stuff from you so that they could use it against you and everyone else as a whole. They can maximize their message. They can maximize their control mechanisms. And when elections come and every little topic is geared towards you, and the answers are geared towards you, it's all the truth. When people say, I'm just being told what I want to hear. And the agents these people, they know it's a game when they go on election season. They know that they're just there to put on a show for you, so once they get their seat, they can do what they want. And it's a big game, and they know it. The corporations are involved in it. Did you know this? I want to show you a weakness in our legal system. Congress has been limited to about 400, and the number's like 436 seats. A law passed in 1929. This is designed to let the corporations have more control. The original Constitution, if you look at it, says one representative for every 30,000 people. Today we'd have upwards of about just over 5,000 people would have over 5 Yeah, I think it's 5,000 people, representatives we'd have today. And one of the things that and I'm just putting this out there, this is not, so because it's limited to 436 people, and then there's the 100 senators, it's easier for everyone to stay in control. There's only so many seats, and the corporations don't have to pay for so many seats. And so they go and they're paying for so many seats, and they're putting on a show, and it only costs like $500 million a year to keep running this. If there's more seats, if there's 5,000 seats, it might cost considerably more. It might actually cost billions of dollars to do this if they were to continue doing it. And so it's putting a price cap on it. It's price fixing how much it costs. It's also preventing other people from coming in and ever doing anything about it, because every seat is monopolized by someone who's working for them in their interests. There are no soccer moms. There are no lawyers for civil rights organizations who are elected officials, congressmen and senators in the federal level. And so what you're dealing with is a rigged system. And if you want to fix this rigged system, you have to undo that limit. You have to make I want to give an example of what your city is going to look like if you undo this. The city of Eugene has about 300,000 something people. You are going to have about 10 representatives for this system, for this city alone. I mean, the city of Portland's going to have like 30 or 40. I mean, that's a lot. Those are dedicated people to represent you, and so you'll have more diversity. You'll have the guy that works at your, the guy who runs your church, or the guy who runs, your local auto shop getting elected, running this, instead of some corporate douchebag who's working for them, or someone who's from a corporation working there, And you'll have hopefully more people, soccer moms and sports people and just everyday citizens running the show, instead of a manufactured person who's doing what the government and the corporations want. And you have to undo that camp on Congress. And you have to also redo a lot of the system too. I mean, you got to put in protections that make them equal to the citizens. You want to make Congress, you want them getting arrested more frequently. You want them to lose their power. You want the president to be susceptible to getting arrested and going to jail for crimes. You want the military to also having, some controls like that. You want them to get in trouble. You can't protect them. There's a lot of protections that say the police never get prosecuted for crimes right now. You can only sue. You can only sue them when they use excessive force. Well, you go into prison. That's the incentive for them not to do it. That's the incentive for them to use peaceful methods only. If they attack someone, they get assault charges, the same as a person on the streets. And that's the way it has to be. And you notice that they're all psychopaths. They use these powers. They commit an assault and then they do it on purpose, and then they make an excuse, and then they're off the hook. When you read an article in Boiling Frogs about that, FBI whistleblower Sybil Ebdens has an article on her website about it. And there's a serious political someone with a PhD, I think, wrote this article about what the police do, and brutalizing people, raping them, and doing things, and getting away with crimes, and no one ever gets in trouble amongst their ranks. But in the citizens, and this is one of their enforcement methods, the government, their mind control enforcement method is the police will come and scare and terrorize you, but they won't go after the government officials. And that's how you know it's rigged. That's how you know it's all rigged. I think I've pretty much covered everything that I can. I probably forgot something because my brain just went blank. And it's pretty injured. My brain is smashed with photons and radiation because they don't want me to tell anybody what they did to me. Obamasweapon.com. Seriously, I know that these guys are organized, intelligent and corrupted. They're doing everything on purpose. You're poor and without education, healthcare, on purpose. You're at the bottom struggling on purpose. You're never getting justice on purpose. It's designed. because as a whole, you never get together and you never put together and revolt. You got to revolt against these people. You got to get rid of them. You got to use violence to get rid of them.
I'm reading a book about proletarian violence.
All right, peace out. Well, I'm back, and I forgot to say, if you undo the cap on Congress, what you could do if you get more people elected is it should be obvious that the reason I was talking about that is because then you could pass any law you wanted, and you could undo all the corruption. You could say, you know, you would have groups of people who could introduce bills against the government at that point. I mean, you could be anti-government or for government and be elected, and you could do things like that. You would be shutting down the status quo. You would be helping the poor. You would be saying, no, I don't think it's acceptable to be spying on anybody and using mind control weapons, and I don't think secret law is okay. I don't think crimes against the citizens are okay. Alright, I don't think assaults by police officers is okay. And I think that they should totally be focused on peaceful methods, you know. And I don't think guns are okay. That could be another thing you could say. You could say, I think we should restrict them just for hunting and just for sports, and that people should not be carrying them on the streets. Because that's the truth, you have no reason carrying them on the streets. Unless you are an actual militia. Unless you are there for defense and you're fighting an invasion, you don't got a reason to have guns. Forget, that might be an opinion that people say is true. And so we would be focused on, you could also just pour money into the community, because why aren't our government officials worried about the health of the American people as a whole? Because, you know, that's something that they're not focused on. They're not dealing with that in order to have a strong country, you gotta have every member of society be healthy, fit as could be, and being taken care of. And when you have the police, they're really just service members. They're there to help everyone else. They're not there to be violent douchebags who just arrest people and throw them in jail and beat them up and convict them and throw them in prison. They're supposed to be there to help society. They're supposed to be there to help everybody and make sure the cities are running good. You know, they gotta be community members. We could redo the police system to make them more like community members who are there to, you know, they're given money to help people. We could get rid of these douchebag psychopaths and put in better people to run this show. We could more money for housing. People out on the streets can't get housing for years on end because the government ain't building housing for them. The educational system's kind of shit. You know, people aren't getting good educations. They're indebted to corporations in order to get their basic needs met their whole life. The minimum wage is really too low. Corporations aren't paying their way. They're sucking out all the money from community. And, you know, you notice the way things should be is, as a person in society, you should not be living off money that's barely enough except to pay your bills and funnel all your money back to the corporations. You should not have debt. You should not need to go get a loan for a house or a car. You should be able to, you know, pay for your education without a loan, and that's what I use to tell if people are actually being paid enough money to make their way. Because if they can't pay for their education and their housing and their car and their basic needs, and they gotta go get a loan, that's telling me, and then pay all their money for the rest of their lives off on that, mostly, and that's telling me that people are not actually making enough money to get by. And that's telling me that anyway, the the corporations are truly controlling all the resources, and they got it set up so instead of giving you more money so you could make your way and not be indebted to someone else or in someone else's control, you gotta be paid the very bare minimum and then go get loans and other services, and it's a way to keep the money in their power the whole time. And so if they do give you a wage for your work, it's automatically going back to them. And we're never given any wealth or power because of it. It's a system, it's a corrupt system. And we could undo that very easily because 5,000 representatives, so many new people elected, anyone could push an agenda. Anybody. And we will be pushing agendas when it happens. When we're given ability to get into government and be elected and do things, we will push those things that aren't being pushed now. And so now you can look and see why America is kind of crap and why it's not good for anybody. And because you can't get elected, you're not paid anything. You're wage slaves. You're slaves, and you're not given any money or resources. And you fight about it. You just go out in the streets and yell about it. And that's all you could do, because that's all they want you to be able to do. And they're forcing you to be angry, but they're also preventing you from changing any of it. And so you keep going back and doing it. You got to keep coming back and protesting and being upset and everything. I don't know. Because we could all be pretty secure, and we're not. And we did a lot of things that anger us. And they want us to be angry, I guess. I mean, they don't ever fix these things. And being angry keeps us from organizing properly sometimes too. It's all a tactic. It's all a tactic on the government's part.